Hello, everybody, and welcome to yet another episode of the Game Changers podcast. My name is Quintin, and it's a pleasure and privilege to be here with you as usual. My next guest is a man in the tech industry. His name is Queentin Aldonza, but you will quickly realize that Quentin is so much more than a tech professional. His story and insight will amaze you indeed. Happy listening. Hello, Quentin. How are you, man?
How you doing? I'm doing good, my brother. Thank you. Thank you. How about yourself? You having a good one?
Fantastic, fantastic. And after this conversation, it will be even better.
I hope so, man. I hope I can add some value.
Absolutely. All right, so tell my guests, tell my listeners rather, who is Queentin Aldonza?
Simple solution, bro. Simple solution. Born and raised in Beaufort. Beautiful year of 1981 to two St. Lucian parents. A flawed person, I'll tell you that. Looking back at where I come from and where I'm at now, I know there are a lot of flaws that I have to deal with. A student of life. I learned that nothing happens to me, everything happens for me. And I just have a desire to learn. So Quentin is a student of life that always on a journey to learn something.
Okay,
That's me in
beautiful.
a nutshell. I have 2 kids with the wife. Yeah, man. 2 kids with the wife, and that's it.
Beautiful. All right, so I know, looking at your bio, I saw that you are an entrepreneur in the finance and technology space. That's correct, right?
Yes, sir.
So tell me a little bit about this. First of all, let's go back to the origins. Why finance? Why tech?
So tech was as a result of just my interest in electronics, man, how computers work, and I like the video gaming space. So like most young solutions, that's where your first captivating experience with technology starts, is playing a video game and just being captivated by that. Finances really came about as an event of necessity. There was no inspiration there. It was a matter of necessity. When you get to a certain point in your life, you realize money plays such a pivotal role, and you have to figure out how to use it wisely. So that ended up becoming just a journey I was on, and I realized that was a key aspect of just existing as a functional human being, and that's how it became one of those things where I realized how important it was. It was out of necessity.
All right, so that's very interesting to me. And I do agree with that video game element because it's very true. All right, but then some way or somewhere down the line, you decided to take this thing seriously and become an entrepreneur. Tell me when that happened for you.
It's gonna sound funny. I was actually online and somebody said you have to find a way to monetize your hobbies. And I realized, wait, I can add value in a number of spaces. So video gaming for me at that time was a big part of my life. I had a specific section of my house where I had my computer, I had my consoles, my monitors, my TVs. And I would build my computers every time. I would not buy them, I would build them. And I realized a lot of my friends were asking me questions and they were sending me their computers to fix. And one day I just sold one of them. Yeah, $100. I can do that for $100. And he's like, no problem, I'll send you 2. I said, wait, hold on. Let's try that again and again and again. And that just continued to just roll into them referring me to other people. And I realized I had to give it a name, and then I had to do something with it to make it grow. So I monetized the hobby, and it provided a lot of value. And it's been fun. And especially if it's something you enjoy and you get paid to do something you enjoy. That's really the story behind me getting into entrepreneurship, was me wanting to build computers for video games and help friends and family. You know how it is when you're the computer guy in the family. So that's what happened.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They use you for everything. They use you for everything.
Yeah, everything. Because you
All
know how
right.
to fix a computer, they go call you on the stove. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You become the tech guy. Regardless of what
That's
the
it.
tech is.
That's it.
All right. So then, You said that you took this thing seriously because somebody online said you should take your passion seriously. But somewhere along the line, you actually created a business, a proper business.
Yeah.
Tell me about that business. What is it? What's the name? And what do you actually do?
So the name of the business is called Senla Geek. That's kind of like my logo behind me here.
Mhm.
Senla stands for Central Louisiana because that's where I live now. What I do is I do a wide range of things, but for a specific um, audience of people, I should say, a specific clientele. I specialize in repairing PCs, building them, and doing like your maintenance on them. So that's like the main thing that I do. As far as the technology company, I do a lot of consultants for people. I help them put together technology packages for their houses. It could be from just a simple computer to wireless speakers to cameras, whatever that falls into that category. I have a lot of background and knowledge in those areas. So that's
Got
mostly
you.
what I do on a day-to-day basis with the technology platform.
Got you. And then where does finance come into that?
So the financial part came in when I actually took the business part serious. I said, you know what? Let's open a business. So I went to a little business class. And in the process of learning about how business works, I learned about the financial side of it. I cannot just get a check from someone, put it in the bank and spend it. The government will
Right.
wait till the end of the year. They'll come put me in some bracelets and let me spend some time with Wesley Snipes in jail. So I had to learn about, yeah, I had to learn about how to take that money and how to use it as a business. And I learned in that process that if I work for myself, I don't have no insurance because I don't work for someone. I don't have no retirement. I have to create that for myself. And at that point, I realized, well, hold on, if we're talking about those things 30, 40 years from now when I go to retire, if I don't have something set up, it's not going to magically happen. So I had to go find that information. In the process of finding that information, I realized how much I didn't know. And look, just like all of us, we all feel like we got it all. Like I
Hmm.
had it under control. Like, yeah, this is easy. I'll make some money, save some money. And I realized I didn't have nearly enough information as I needed. And most of my people around me in my circle didn't have the information. They were not practicing the basics. So I just took it upon myself as part of a community. You know, nowadays you always want to just help the help the next man. So
Yeah.
that's how it all started off. And just like with the computers, you help one person, somebody else ask you a question and just kept growing from it.
All right. Interesting dynamic. Very interesting dynamic. All right. And then you've created this business now and you're a business owner full time. What were the challenges in the early stages?
I don't think there ever have early stages of challenges. It's just challenges, period. But you never like you just get over them challenges. So for me in particular, the biggest challenge was my mindset and my mentality. Like
Mm,
most people, we born, raised, trained, taught, programmed to be employees. So when
right.
I started working for myself, I brought my employee mindset to working for myself. The employee mindset is simple. Let me see how little I can do to get the same paycheck. It
Yeah.
doesn't work in business. In business, the amount of work you put in and the amount of value you bring equates the amount of results you get. So I had to figure out a way to be consistent, to be real with myself, and to fix that. I had to read a lot of books. I had to attend seminars, trainings, and force myself to apply little things, whether or not you saw the results right away. It's kind of like going to the gym. You can read
Hmm.
all the books about abs you want. If you're going to do the ab workouts, you're getting no abs. And if you do the ab workouts for 6, 7 months in a row, not happening. The second thing was environment. Most of us have environments we don't realize actually are negative. It's taken away from the goal you set for yourself. So for me in particular, gaming, which was one of the biggest things for me, I had to take a break from gaming where I did not spend my time gaming, rather I spent that time learning, right? So I had to change the environment in my house. I changed the environment in the places where I worked. I changed the environments that I spent my time in, that kind of thing. And then I changed the company that I kept. That is probably the hardest one. Is one of my mentors, which I'll recommend everybody get a mentor in some department you want to improve in. Find someone that already doing the thing you want to do and talk to them a lot. One of my mentors said to me, if you cannot change the people, change the people,
Change the people.
right?
Hmm.
If I cannot help your mentality move with mine, I have to find people that move in that direction with me. It's a painful thing. People will tell you, so you think you're better than me now? And I always tell them, nah, I don't think I'm better than you. I know I'm better than me 5 years ago. So that's the
Yeah,
important thing. So mindset, environment, and the company you keep. If you stay around 5 people that doing drugs, you're gonna be the sixth one. If you stay around 5 people that are millionaires, I have good news for you. Will be the sixth one.
absolutely. And that's
Yeah.
so true, bro. Particularly with the change the people whole narrative. Because I had a lecturer who told me the same thing. You know, if you cannot get somebody to behave in the way that you need them to behave for you to excel, you need to find a new group of people. And that can be a hard thing to do. That can be very hard.
Oh yeah. Because it's the people that you like in my instance is the people that I would just like if I wake up, that's who I talking to. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Outside of my home in particular, you always have that one person you just go link up with. Even the people you work with at work, right? My mentor also told me if you talk to somebody that you consider a friend and they have been complaining to you about the same thing, like their job, you go to work and they say, "Man, I hate working it. I hate this job. This job sucks," and you've been doing it for 10 years, can be around that person. That is the person that tell you, "Or you know what? When I sick, I go into the doctor. I just like to stay sick," but they'll complain about being sick. So
Right.
that's why you have to change people. And sometimes it's stuff. If you imagine your best friend, the person you grew up with playing marbles with, yeah, the person you go to the beach with, and you'll run around naked as children, and now you have to tell that person, bro, me and you can't hang out as much because what I try and do, you can't see the vision. So your vision sometimes, bro, will offend people until the vision come into fruition. I have a personal example where someone whose mom was mad about the decisions they made to become an entrepreneur because they quit the job. And in how it is in St. Lucia, you have these jobs um of prestige. If you work in the bank, that's prestigious. And he decided to leave that and do his own thing. And his mom was upset until the results started to come. And now his mom is his biggest fan. See? So when you have those goals and you have those dreams and you have those visions for yourself, nobody else can see. And only you can work.
All right, bro. So I am really, really inspired by what you have said so far. It really makes a lot of sense to me, and I've seen it in my own life. And sometimes we meet these people who either make or break us, right? So they are individuals who are fantastic for you and will develop you into a brilliant individual. And then there are individuals who might not necessarily want to pull you down, but pull you down with their mentality, their mindset, their whole understanding of life. And sometimes, I mean, for some people, these individuals are even in their families, like you were saying. So how does a young person in particular deal with something like that?
So for a young person, it's usually very difficult because, between the ages of like 19 to like 21 or around that period of time where you have to become an adult, the pack
Right.
that you move with is important. Human beings are pack creatures.
For
The
sure.
thing that separates, that's why it's a very few people break away and do this thing. You
Yep.
actually have to be borderline insane. You have to be crazy because that's what everybody will tell you. You're a madman. Why would you do that instead of being like everybody else? Right? This person did it and they're doing great. Yeah, but that's them. You have to get a little bit crazy about what you want to do. And the results don't show immediately. Like I've never seen any farmer plant something, come back the next day and reap it. You understand?
That's true.
But we
Facts.
understand how that process work, right? One of my mentors actually made me read this. There was this, I don't know if it's a Japanese proverb or something, but this guy planted, it's a type of bamboo that takes 5 years before it shows above the ground. 5 years. So imagine it's in your front yard and for 5 years, you go in and you water in the spot. All your neighbors, especially in St. Lucia, all of them go be looking at each other, got it. Me say, "Ah, fools, like they're
Oh,
gonna say
man.
you're a madman. And then 5 years later, when this thing finally shoots up, in 2 weeks, it grows, I think, to like 25 feet in 2 weeks.
Wow.
You know what everybody goes say, Mama, that just happened.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what that
Yep.
happened. So a lot of times in business, people say, boy, I'm unlucky. And I like people tell me, boy, you did that thing at the right time. You look, I say, bro, if you look on the bottom of my website was launched in 2017. And my website was launched about maybe 8 years after I started
Mm-hmm.
doing Send Geek work. And then when people started, like now, my website gets a lot of hits. They say, boy, your website, you put that out at the right time. I said, what, 10 years ago? Nobody was there when that was happening. The
Right.
website went through like 5 or 6 different design changes and hours and hours. So nobody sees that back end stuff. Usain Bolt said it best. He said he trained for 6 years to run for 10 seconds. You
Yep.
understand? So as a young person, you have to have that type of mentality that I'm going to do this thing that I chose to do because I know what goal I want. And the only way you don't get the goal is when you stop. So for the young
Absolutely.
people, the same way you rebellious to do the things you want to do when you were a teenager, when your mother tell you, don't go and talk to that little girl down the street. You have to apply that same thing to the goals you want. That's the only way it works. And unfortunately, bro, that's why I say environment is one of those biggest things. The mentality of the environment in general will weigh down on you will, again, it's very few people that will be able to rise their head above that and apply themselves to something that goes against the grain. So for the young people, just stay consistent and just know what the end result is and work on that every day. Because that day you gotta finish it.
Absolutely. That's great advice for everybody, you know. I think anybody who has that, whether they be young or older or middle aged or whatever age they are, that's good advice because I've met people who started their business in their 50s and are very successful. There are people who started their business in their 20s and are very successful. So the perfect timing simply does not exist. But the reality is the hard work and the dedication, and a lot of times that hard work and dedication that people don't see, like you rightfully said, the work that happens behind the scenes, the work that people have no clue about, is the most important work that is being done.
That's right. The other part about that is, bro, which is the really and truly the scary part is success for you will look different than success for me.
Facts.
You see what I'm saying? I had a gentleman, I remember sitting with this guy, and this guy told me, bro, he's from the Dominican Republic, lives in America
Hmm.
now. And he said to me, man, I am rich. He said, I am so rich now, I can die a happy man and rich. And we sitting at the table talking, and he said, I made $60,000 this year. Do you know what that means to me?
It's
Right?
rich for him.
That's rich. Look, the other people that were sitting at the table, one guy at the table makes $40,000 a month. So to another man say he's rich and content with 60,000 a year, he was confused. You see what I'm saying? So
Yep.
when you tell people what your idea of success is, they go look at you and talking about, what are you talking about? Why are you going to work in the bank instead? You know what I'm saying? Why
Right.
are you trying to be an HTS and you tell them, well, I have my own podcast. I want to give people information in a certain way. Just nobody will have your vision. So bear that in mind. Very rarely, I'm telling you, your significant other might say, that's crazy. Don't do that. Your significant, you imagine how hard that one is. Yeah.
Yeah, that
So
one will be hard.
that will be hard. So just bear that in mind. And as long as Henry Ford said it well, Henry Ford said that the proof of a successful man is a man that takes his idea and makes it a reality without hurting anyone in the process. Remember that.
Mm. Wow. I think that is a perfect quote for success. I have never heard that quote, but it sums it up so well, you know, because I mean, you can't be successful while deliberately hurting other individuals. However, you know, success might look weird to everybody else, right? Because what you do might not fit the status quo, might not be normal to everybody else, right? So I think being abnormal, quote unquote, but being happy in your abnormality is really, really probably the hallmark of success, I should say.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then I tell people, a lot of people say success is like a destination. And success ain't a destination because watch this. Imagine Usain Bolt trained for 6 years to run 10 seconds, and after he ran that 100 meters, he stopped. He had to do it a bunch of times. There were different goals to be achieved. So success for a lot of people, I tell them, if you can break down your success into like 4 different parts, you're going to find yourself having an entire run of 10, 15, 20 years where you're working in a space of happiness because you have the next goal to go to. I succeeded here. You start with small goals. Like imagine waking up in the morning and say, boy, today I'm making my bed. Make your bed. That's one goal. You can go back to sleep just because you make your bed. You know what? I'm going to make something healthy for breakfast. That's another goal. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to spend an hour reading a book today. That's another goal. And that's just one day. And you have to set up things like that for yourself over time and then years. You know what I'm saying? And it's not always just about money. It could be a health wise goal. I never say I want to lose weight because I don't like to lose nothing. I'll find it. So
Right.
I like to deposit weight in other places. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You're right. You're right.
With the scale giving me, you know what I mean? A certain number. So, and it, and that's another thing too, I believe is a key. If you cannot, you see what we just did there, we just laugh about something which is serious for some people. And the goal is a realistic one, but if you can have fun along the way, again, there you can enjoy it, it becomes work. The minute it becomes work, you want somebody to pay you for something you really do. And you know what I'm saying? So success have to be like a series of things you have to get done. If for you, I've seen people hit a goal and get depressed immediately because they didn't have
Yep.
something else to do after that. Cognitive dissonance works in both directions. Sometimes you hit
That's
a goal
true.
too fast and you immediately panic and say, oh my God, what to do next? So that have to be like a series of things. I want to get here, but in the meantime, I need to do this and this and this.
Yeah.
So
Some people are victims of their own success, you know. You hit a goal and boy, you're like, okay, like what next? You know, what else can I do with my life? I am too happy maybe. You know? Right? Too happy. I did, you know, something to that itches me so I can go after it.
I like that. I want to know what that feel like to be too happy. You know what I'm saying? I always tell my younger
Absolutely.
brother, I always tell him life work in balance. So even if you feel like you're real happy, just know that happiness, I don't want to say short lived, but that happiness coming with a challenge next. And it's
Yeah,
you to
for sure.
decide how you think you're the challenge to go to the next level of happiness. So, but yeah, like
Yeah, for
too
sure.
happy. I feel like I'm gonna make
That's
that my
beautiful.
Facebook status, too happy.
For sure. All right, so we're moving on to a little different part of this interview called the quick hitters. Now, the quick hitters is rapid fire questions that will speak probably more about Quentin the man than Quentin the entrepreneur. Maybe, I mean, we'll have some of the entrepreneur in there as well. But you know, it's a balance, like we were saying a while ago. All right. So first quick hitter question. Just give me 3 quick tech tips for my audience.
um, I feel them tips may be able to apply to everything. Not just tech, but
Okay.
specifically when it comes to that, I'll tell you the real challenges you have in life is not other people. The real challenges you have right now is your phone,
Mm-hmm.
what you eat, and how you spend or slash invest your time. The last one in particular, when you spend money, is gone. If you invest money, what you were expecting, a return. So that's why I gave up gaming for a year. I had to learn how to invest my time to increase my own personal value, and that process continues. So the real challenge is your phone, the food you eat, and how you invest your time. Um, yeah, that's what I have. Quick tips.
Beautiful. Next question. Who is your hero?
Um, this might sound weird. My younger brother is my hero.
Not
Um,
weird at all.
yeah, I've known him his whole life, not my whole life.
All
I've known him
right.
his whole life, and his progress through life, he has ended up completely opposite to where most of us would end up. He's the catalyst for a lot of my decisions, believe it or not. Based on how we were brought up and the example I set when I was younger that he had, how he took all of that and instead of becoming that, he used that to turn into what I would call an inspiring human being. Um, yeah, man, that man is my hero. I literally, they're my hero. You know, I have no kids yet and he ain't married yet. That's not why he's my hero. But you know, he's the best uncle my kids can ever have, and he's the best brother, friend, business partner I could ever wish for.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love that, man. Yeah, like I said, it's not weird at all. It makes a lot of sense actually. You know, just seeing how somebody who you literally have known his entire life develop and turn into something that maybe you even didn't even expect from him. But yeah, that's beautiful. That's actually really, really nice. Final quick hitter rapid fire question. Who would you like to see on this podcast?
Man, based on the questions you're asking me, I'll tell you, you're gonna have to try to get my brother on here.
Okay, well, fine.
You have a lot to
Link me,
contribute.
please. Link me.
Yeah, I go give you the link. You have a lot to contribute, and he's a self-made businessman. Like he did. You just need to get him on here and get his story. Let me put it to you this way: he quit his first job. His first job he got, he went to A level, did accounts and all that kind of stuff. His first job was at a hotel. He thought he was going to work in the accounting department. And they said, hey, we need some help. They make him put on this big jacket and tell him go in the freezer and get some stuff
Wow.
out of the freezer. He tell him, I think I'll go home. And since then, I knew he was going to be different. So, yeah, you need to get him on here.
Yeah. Trust me, that's hotel life. I used to work in the hotel, so I know that's what the hotel life is like. You know, they throw you wherever they can throw you. Whatever you can do, they put you there until, you know, they might not need you there anymore. But I understand that completely. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's the life of an employee. You know,
It's true. It's true. And you have to do it
what?
because you're depending on their paycheck.
That's the scary part. That's the scary part. And a lot of us fail to realize the people tell you all the time, don't put all your eggs in one basket, but all your paycheck coming from one place.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's the scary part for me. For the
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So we're moving on to the back end of the interview. What advice would you have for aspiring entrepreneurs in the tech space, but just aspiring entrepreneurs in general? Because I like the general advice that you've been giving so far.
So my biggest advice is to avoid comfort at all costs, like in almost every aspect of your life. The minute you get comfortable, that's where your dreams go to die. And
Wow.
yeah, because change is the only thing in this entire universe since the beginning of time that has never changed is that the universe is always changing.
Yep.
You understand? So you have to be willing to change at the drop of a dime. You have to be willing to let yourself explore things that seem risky, that make you uncomfortable, especially if it contributes to your growth. Because as a business person, like I like video games, but I don't make money off video games. I don't make money.
Exactly.
I don't make it off computers. None of that. I make money off of solving problems for people. That's it.
Very, very true.
It's two things: is ignorance and people's comfort will make you money. They don't know how to do something, they'll pay somebody to do it.
Yep.
Or the comfort part, I don't want to do something, mostly I'll pay somebody else to do it. I can cut grass. If you let me cut the grass, I'll die of allergies. So I have to pay someone to do that.
Yeah.
With young people, I tell them, don't get comfortable and find what problems you can solve for people. They will pay you when you don't even ask for it.
Absolutely. And that is so true for business, because every successful business that I've heard, you know, they provide a service or a good for people who desperately needed it. And sometimes these individuals didn't even know that they desperately needed it, right? But they provide something that there was a lack of, right? If you think of great entrepreneurs, you think of Steve Jobs, you think of Bill Gates, just to stay in the tech space. You think of Jeff Bezos, all those great entrepreneurs. Yeah, at the time, many people might think, okay, what is this guy doing? He's corny. He's just weird. What is he doing? But he saw a need and he tapped into that need, and that is, to me, that is the best way to tackle entrepreneurship and tackle business in general.
Absolutely. So you brought up to me, the people that I look at when it comes to that technology space, and two things ring out, right? All three of those people did things against the grain. You have to realize that.
Yep.
When Jeff Bezos, Amazon was a book website. That's all he did was sell books.
Yes, it was.
And then he said how big it would be, and people were like, who's gonna? I'll never forget, bro. I don't know if you know Gary V.
Yes, I do.
Said to him, the internet, who's gonna use that? Who is gonna use that? The internet. Who's gonna get on the computer and buy something? Right? The question today is, who's not doing that? Right?
Exactly.
You're 20-something years old. Imagine I told you were like maybe as little as 5 years ago, 10 years ago, you would tell me here, especially in the United States, I would call a complete stranger, give them my address, tell them I just bought some food down the street. I don't know what you were doing in your car, but go pick it up in your car, drive it to my house, and I'll pay someone for that.
And you'll eat it.
And I'll eat it too, huh? Right? And I have a knife from St. Lucia. So I don't use DoorDash because of that.
Okay, all right.
But you have to imagine DoorDash is $1 billion business right now.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? So what again, that is how they say it, making yourself flexible to change. That is a complete opposite of what you would have been told 10 years ago. Don't give nobody your address. Don't invite no strangers
Mm-hmm.
to your home. Don't eat food from random people. But
Right.
we're paying for that now. So the world will continue to change. So if you're a young entrepreneur, be ready for the change. Be ready to do something against the grain that may sound crazy, but if you have a vision, stick with it. Yeah. So, and the other thing is, a lot of us focus a lot on technology right now. Like, what technology will break the bank next? What technology? Let me tell you what will break the bank every time. Education.
Yep.
If we don't have people that can do, you think about the way kids think now. A lot of the kids now lack basic education, like one-on-one maths. They lack that.
Mm-hmm.
Without that being a basic in your mind, you cannot think bigger than that in any environment. With proper education, people will think outside of the box more readily, right? Most of those people that we spoke about, they didn't finish college, or university, because they were thinking on such a high level. They were solving problems way ahead of the time because the basic understanding of how life works was easy for them. Technology will emerge from education. Good finances emerges from education. How many lottery winners you hear rich 10 years later?
Few.
Have education, bro. That is where everything coming from is education. Think about it.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know how the pyramids were built, but we're looking at them every day.
Yep.
That's the technology, but we don't have the information. We don't have the education. Why are we not building more of them? You see what
Exactly.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and the education will outlast the technology. Because if
Mm-hmm.
two people had written it down, everybody will be building pyramids.
That's
So
true.
the education is for me, the key.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason why I have this podcast. It is edutainment, right? So it's entertaining. People, it's engaging. People can, enjoy it. They can have a laugh. They can be interested, intrigued by the stories. But it's also educational, so that people can learn. And 5, 10 years down the line, somebody can still come back to this podcast and get gems that are everlasting, that are timeless, right? Because the information here can last a lifetime, literally. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that is the point.
And that's why I didn't hesitate to take the invitation to come speak. Because like I said, my journey into finances became real when I realized how many of our people were missing some key points in what to practice with their finances, because everybody wants to be what? Rich. Despite what they
Yep.
say, despite what the preacher tell you, it's difficult. It's easier for camel to pass through the eye of a needle than for a rich man. Jesus himself didn't walk with nobody poor. He didn't go visit any poor people. He met them on the street. He was happy to talk to you, but he didn't, you know what I'm saying? And in all things, we must prosper according to what everybody believes. So I know we don't go to work just to pay bills. We go to work to experience life, and I realize what it's for. So this information that I have, I'm willing to give it free, willing to break it down. And again, it'll solve problems. So I'll get paid regardless. So that's why I'm willing to give it free, right? So
Yep.
yeah, man. I appreciate you doing the podcast because I think that's important. I realize that's how people consume information now. They don't want structured, somebody
Nope.
reading you some news. You want to know what the next person did, what you can do, and how you can take it. So I appreciate what you do.
Exactly. Exactly. Thank you very much for that, man. My final two questions. The first one is, what are you doing personally to impact your community and society through your work?
So I'll talk about the tech side because there's nothing we can do now that doesn't involve technology. And
Mm-hmm.
what you hear a lot of older folks say is, I cannot work these computers. And it's getting easier and easier to use this stuff, but because of just the mentality, people don't use it. So I spend a lot of time in the community, in schools. I even worked with like juvenile delinquents in the city that I'm in to teach them about technology, show them how to use technology, how to use it when it's in their hands so that it's more productive and rewarding rather than destructive. Because let me tell you, doom scrolling on TikTok is a thing. People will spend hours doing that and get a million dopamine hits and then put it down immediately, get depressed. So I spend time educating on technology. Most of my impact in the community is through financial services. We don't realize how important little things that we do can impact us in the future, impact our families, and especially you as a young man. I assume you want to have a family one day, right?
Yes, I do.
And if I said to you, I ask you a simple question. For your legacy, would you like to leave more when you're not around or less? What would you say?
More, obviously.
That's a rhetorical question. Everybody
Yeah.
says that. And if I tell you that would cost you, bro, to leave more for your entire family tree, it would cost you $300 a month.
Right.
How does that? Would that be too much? Would that be breaking the bank? Would that put you in a position to where, man, I can buy bread tomorrow?
No, it would.
It would be worth it because you're thinking to yourself, if I have kids, I want my kids to not worry when I'm around or not. But people
Exactly.
don't understand a small investment like that can turn into millions of dollars
That's
for the
very
next
true.
generation. And dollars don't mean shoes. Dollars don't mean cars and flashy stuff. Dollars means time. Money buys
Exactly.
your time back. You understand what I'm saying?
True wealth.
Showing is always in his studio, right?
Yep.
I'm always in my office. I don't know where you always at, but people that are entrepreneurs, we stay in the environment that we know produces for us. Even if I work 80 hours for myself, those 80 hours will be refunded to me when I can take a 2-week long vacation with my family. But
Absolutely.
most people get, I can get 3 days off from work. You know
Have
what
to
I'm
beg
saying?
for it.
You got to ask for it. And to me, you shouldn't have to ask for time with your family. It should be something that you have available to you when you need it. So that's the kind of investment you put in your way with those little things. $300 most of us spend in fast food for the month. Let's be honest, right? We spend that in fast food and little things, and just those small adjustments can change an entire family tree. So that's where most of my impact in the community goes, is educating people along those simple lines and showing them results from other people, right? Because if I show them what I have or what I'm doing, that's showing off. But if I show them what the neighbor was doing or somebody that they went to school, if that's what they're doing, that's the results they're getting, they'll be like, how can I get that? How can I do that too? Right? So I don't know if I'm doing this. So that's what I do mostly for the community, is educating people along in them small ways. And I don't tell people what to do. I ask them what they want.
Nice.
That's it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, and based on, I'm guessing, based on what they want, then you can educate them appropriately. But the problem with that though is that many people don't even know what they want. That is
So
the challenge.
it's two things there. It's two things. Number one, when I ask somebody, so what kind of financial future you want? They always say, well, I want to be rich. But well, how much money do you need to be rich?
Right.
Is it $50,000 like my friend, 60,000 a year like my friend, or like one of my mentors? If he doesn't make $2 million a year, he uncomfortable. Like, why don't I go pay my bills? Right? So
Right.
they have to figure that out. Then the second thing is there's an amazing type of person. I call them an ask hole, right? An ask hole. They will ask you a question. You give them the answer. They say thank you. They don't do what they asked about, and they come back and say it didn't work.
Right. Right.
Right? My wife sent me a video a few days ago. Is this girl who reads a recipe, right, on how to make these cupcakes, and she's like, "Nah, I'm gonna do this instead of that." And the cupcakes were a mess. It was hilarious, and she's like, "I don't know why it didn't work," but she didn't follow the recipe. So
Right.
they will ask you and be asked holes by asking you. You give them what they ask for in their hand, and they don't use it right. And they come back and say, "Man, I did what you said, and it didn't work." And when you ask a few more questions, well, you didn't do that, you didn't do this, but you want this result. And that's the problem a lot of us are having. Um, Damian Marley summed it up very well in one of his songs. He said, "Sufferation plus swagging equals one big mental conflict we're having." Right? We
Mm.
live in a life where we want to look a certain way, but we don't sleep like that.
Nope.
You see what I'm saying? When you awake, it's cool, but when you go to sleep on your mind working on you, and we say, "Oh, there's so much depression in the world." There's no depression. It's people wanting to do something that they didn't earn and they don't know how to keep. So that's the two things: the assholes, right, and whatever else I said before that, and not
For
knowing
sure.
what they actually want, not knowing what they actually want.
For sure.
Yeah.
Final question for you. Somebody is inspired by your story, is inspired by your information, and want to get in contact with you, wants to connect with you, whether to actually do business or just to have a conversation. How do they do that?
My website, senlageek.com. Just spell it just like it sounds, CNLA,
Mm-hmm.
geek.com. Senla Geek, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, X, Twitter, the little blue bird, whatever you want to call it. You can find me on all those platforms as Sinlaki, or you can just look at my name, Quentin Aldonza. You can find me on social media. Always willing to have a conversation, always willing to um, impact in any way that I can, give information, whatever it takes. Have a little laugh, whatever.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And we'll leave the link to your website down below so people can get easy access to it.
Cool thing. Appreciate it.
Beautiful. All right, Quentin. I really, really enjoyed this conversation. I've learned so much from you, and I hope that you enjoyed the conversation as well with me. It was beautiful.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it. Always inspired to see a young person taking a step and doing what you're doing. I really like that. Like that kind of thing inspires me. Just so you know. Hopefully we can stay in touch and see if I can get some more people to get on this podcast with you, whether they're Sanusians or Americans that are successful in certain fields. Because let me know,
For
it's
sure.
my pleasure to put in front of some of the people that I have the honor of calling my mentors.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. Maybe it's something about guys with QU at the start of their name. Maybe it's something about that. Maybe that's the
It's so
connection.
close,
Who knows?
so close to quality, so close to quantity,
Exactly.
quantum, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a thing. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
You
It,
know?
it has to be a thing. All
Yeah,
right,
man,
man.
my
Thank you
pleasure.
so much. All right, guys, this has been yet another episode of the Game Changers podcast. And to thank you for coming on, thank you for listening. Game Changers is available wherever you get your podcast. We're on YouTube, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcast. Wherever you get your podcast, you can get Game Changers. Anyhow, remember to like and subscribe, download the episode, and until next time, stay hungry. And I'll see you then. Bye bye.